Welcome to the video tutorial on how to use a wiki. In a previous video we showed you how to create the wiki, and now we're going to show you how you as the instructor are going to access the wiki to put additional items in there yourself or to review what students have posted. So we're going to go into Group Wiki A. You would have a list of all of the wikis in your class would be over here on this left side. You can either go into Group Wiki or you can go into the home page. The home page is nice because it shows you who the students are in this particular group. Your name will be in here as the faculty, because remember, when you created the group you always have to put your name in, or at this particular point you wouldn't be able to see this group at all. So your name will be in here along with the other students that are in the group. You just click on the Group Wiki, and that will take you to this particular page. So again, you originally created this wiki, date and time stamped, and it was modified by a student. We'll talk about that in a second. There's some additional information here beyond what you just created. Remember, a wiki is an editable web page. So what happens is a person starts a wiki, they create the page, and often will put the first post on that page. Everybody else in the group has the ability to edit what's on that page, they can remove what's on that page, or they can add more information to that page. And what you always will be looking at is the most recent version of everybody's work. So let's look at a couple of other places on this particular screen. The comment area is if someone in this particular group makes a comment that would like others to see. It's not part of the actual wiki post, but it's an area where if you just want to leave some little messages for folks, this is a good place to do that, and you would just do that by clicking on the comments. So if you as the faculty wanted to leave a message to some of the students, rather than posting it into their edit wiki content and post it into their page, you can just click on comment and put your comment in there, and then this number will change from whatever the number is. It will add one more to it and your comments will be there, and then you just hope that that they'll take a look at that. I think that this is a good idea from a student's point of view, and I always encourage my students. I don't think it's that much of a big deal if somebody's going in and correcting somebody's spelling mistake. Just go in and fix it. I don't think that's a big deal. But if you're going to go in there and someone has worked awful hard and they put a paragraph worth of material in here and you're going to blow it out as a student, I always tell students I believe that it's only right to put a comment in there to explain to the student who posted that work originally, as well as the other students in the group, why you ended up doing this. Probably a great reason. Maybe you find some more updated content and you would want to go ahead and put that information in there so that somebody coming by who posted that looks at it again when they get onto the page the next time. Now, holy cow, where did all my stuff go? You know, wondering whether or not they accidentally thought they posted but they didn't post or what have you. So I think it's always a good idea. As far as editing wiki content, for the most part, you don't necessarily have to do this unless you would like something that you put in to show up on the finished document. Remember, this page here is always going to be the most recent and only version of this thing that currently exists. But in case you wanted to do that, you would just click on Edit Wiki Content, and you could get the dialog box in order to add that stuff. There might be some times where you may want to add an attachment just for them to have. So you could add an attachment, you could add an image, all kinds of other different things. But for the most part, you're not going to really do something like that. What you might do depends on how you like to set it up. Remember, this group wiki, the way it's set up, if you just create one group A wiki, that particular wiki is going to be used for the entire course, that same group wiki. So there could be a lot of stuff on here. Usually with a wiki, you might want to just keep one for the whole time. You don't need to break it down by weeks. I always think that's a good idea, is to keep one wiki for the entire class. Usually if you're doing a blog, sometimes you might want to make a blog for each week, depending on how much activity there's going to be, because a blog is an awful lot like a discussion board. And if you think about having all of the posts for all of the weeks in your class on one discussion board, that could get kind of large. But in a group wiki, you might not necessarily want to create a second page, but if you wanted to do that or have one of your students create another page, they would just do this the same way. Just make sure you give it a different name than this particular page. So just to show you what that looks like, Wiki Group A, Week 2. So you put some information in, whatever that information is, and then you can hit submit. Okay, now just want to show you a couple of things. There was a reason why I did this specifically. Again, I don't know that you would necessarily have to create another page, but you may want to do that. Maybe week 1 there's something specific going on. You want them to work together until they complete and build that. And then week 2, they're doing something completely different and you want them to keep that separate. Then that would be a reason why you would want to create that wiki page. You could do that for your students at the beginning of each week so that they had a fresh page to work with, or you could task one of the students to do that if you wanted to go that way. So let's take a look at the right side here in this little toolbar on this side. The About This Wiki is going to tell you how many wiki pages you have going on, the numbers of comments that have been put on any of the pages. So that might be important information for you. Also the Group A Wiki, so the top, what's kind of, the margin is kind of more to the left than the rest of these areas here. This is the Group A Wiki. This is what the entire wiki is called. But you have pages in this Group A Wiki. This is the home page to take you right to the front. And Group A Wiki Week 2 is something that we had a student that created a page, so that's what that would look like. Here's the page that you just created. And again, the way that you know the difference is Barb's student created this a little earlier on in the day, 10:58 a.m. and they added some content. So this is how you toggle back and forth between the pages. One of the other things that I think is important to know, especially when you're working with wikis, is wikis has this concept called versioning. So as you know, every time there's a change, you essentially create a new version of the document. So if I repair something, I correct an error, like a misspelling, I add some text or I delete some text, and I'm a member of this group. Once I finish all that and I leave that screen, I've created a new version of that document. In order to access those, if you go over to your home page for this particular wiki and hit this little drop-down box, we have Open, Edit, and History. Where we want to go is History. When you click on History, here is a list of all the different versions. So this was the version 1 is always what was originally created and posted in, and again, the instructor kicked off this wiki with, hey, here, here's what it is, here's what's going on, post here. And then we've had one particular student, but in your class you would have a list of various students who have done something, who have changed this particular wiki, and each one of those changes would be recorded as one of these versions. If you wanted to see multiple changes, you could put some check marks in some boxes and compare one change to another change. Now I do want to warn you, and I've warned the students as well in their tutorial, it's not the easiest thing to do. If you can actually do a split screen and open them up both at the same time, you might actually want to print both of them, or just very carefully look, because there isn't anything like there is in some proprietary wiki tools that are out there that you can get off the web that will have highlights and little identifiers to show you what specifically. So if you use Microsoft Word and you are familiar with something like track changes, there isn't anything like that in this particular wiki, so you have to kind of pay attention to see what those are. But in case you need to get to versioning, that's how you do it. So we'll just go back to our group wiki page. So that's pretty much it. Edit wiki content, create a new wiki page if you feel that that's something you want to do, and then you and students have the ability to add some comments down here. Thanks, hope this was helpful for you.